So, first, I know you guys have seen this film for about, I don't know, 100 times? 1,000 times?
Many times.
Carl, your first time seeing the film, though?
Yes.
What do we think? You can
Enjoyed
have the first word.
It took me. I'm not usually engrossed in films, but I was engrossed. I was put myself there. I looked to my left. My wife was crying at the end of it, which is a bit softer. But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the journey. I really did.
Good. Tell us a little bit about how you came on board, how you came to be part of the team.
Well, I actually thought it was a full-on boxing film. Obviously, with Sal being the main character and his boxing, and it was actually quite good because I was trying to. In the fight scenes, I know there was a street fight and then there was a few scenes on the bag and that, but you don't want a fighter to stand there looking like he don't know what he's doing. And actually I was quite lucky because Toby Cabello, who's not here tonight, is there a reason he's not here actually? I might have to put shite into him again.
He's on reshoots apparently. He unfortunately can't be with us.
Yeah, but he was an amateur boxer. I knew him from Newark as well. I lived in Newark for a couple of years, so it was really, really interesting. But he boxed amateur, so he was quite good to work with because he shaped up quite well. I don't know why Shia Labeouf fancied a bit of boxing because you had a little go, didn't you?
Yeah, I loved it.
We did a bit of body sparring as well. You loved it too much. I hit him with a body shot. I thought because he was getting a bit cheeky. He was putting a couple of shots into me, and I thought, oh, what's he doing? He's not even in any fight scenes. He just wants to get involved. So I hit him with a couple of rib ticklers, and that's all he did. He just kept laughing. Every time I was into him, I was thinking, what's he laughing at? But it was really, from my point of view, I enjoyed it, and even the street fight scenes, I just wanted it to look a bit more authentic because, I mean, Rocky is my favourite boxing movie of all time, but the fight scenes are so sort of, they're not believable because it's just too Hollywood. But
and to an untrained eye, the boxing in this is really, really good.
Absolutely.
So how did you, tell us a little about a bit about the process and how...
We did training, did some pad work, did some bag work, we did some sparring, so body sparring, Toby Cabell, and I think Shia just wanted to jump in and have a little feel for it as well to see what Toby was going through. But
it's like hard dance.
Hard dance.
Yeah, like boxing in movies is not like what he knows, it's hard dance. It's just like hard dance.
Dancing, getting punched as well. That's what it is, I suppose. That's a good.
I was watching Carl for the stuff he was doing on the ropes. I'm watching him for different reasons. So I came out to training camp to piggyback that and just kind of you see all that shit. Oh, this is all this weirdo shit he does. I'm trying to steal all that type of stuff because that's a lot of my job, all that type of shit.
You're making me know. I think you're going to hit me.
And plus I'm a fan too, so.
This was all in New York, right? You guys spent some time together pre-filming in New York to train and prep.
Yeah, was it Bedford? Bedford, yeah. New York there.
It was really him and Toby, but I was kind of piggybacking and me and them were getting to know our process and jab with me and him and them, So, because we were trying to figure out they were filming this whole prep, so it gave us a chance to kind of rehearse how we were going to get down, the three of us.
Yeah.
It was the perfect boot camp for all of us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really, because we got to know the guys so well and understand their process, and they got to understand ours as well. And I think we couldn't have done better homework because by the time we got on set, we all knew each other so well that I think we just had natural chemistry.
Yeah, and asking Carl about his brother, and his brother was real kind to me. He let me in a bit, so a lot of my shit, Carl doesn't have what is in the movie, but there's versions that's in his life that we stole too. So it was all that, watching movies together and shit, just stuff like that.
Because you had a fairly big transformation for this, both physically and you learned an entirely new accent for your repertoire, right? So
yeah, like a whole new world.
Yeah, what was that like for you?
The traveler world is super sexy. I knew I was, it's not often like Americans ever pull off any UK anything. They're just always quite shit, and I figure, well, I'll be in that school, better men than I have failed. So I thought I was going to fail walking in, but the script hit me. Toby and me had a relationship. Me and them had a good thing going, and then I fell in love over here, and then I couldn't really not go. And then it was like, well, how am I going to fit in this world? I'm so tiny, small. And if you go meet any of these fighters, these travelers, even guys in my position who are just kind of bookies, they're big boys. They're bigger, and I didn't want to act a lot. So I figured if I was bigger, I could be quieter and kinder also, could smile more.
Well, that's what we talked a lot about, that, didn't we? The smile, the laugh. Like, Vince had to have a likability, and there's lots of like quippy lines in there. And I think that was so important that you found the love in that role as much as the danger as well.
And he's kind of like this bridge, so he's like Peter Pan. You know, he's like a fucked up Peter Pan meets, like, who's that shitty boxer we always talk shit about, the Irish, what's his name? Conor McGregor. He's like Conor McGregor meets Peter Pan. So he's got to be a bit, you got to get the passport, you know, you got to get permission. So permission was like the size.
And how much weight did you put on as well, just out of interest?
So I was about to die. I mean, we had a cardiologist tell me, you got to stop. I was on like all kind of weird steroids, like not steroids, but it's called SARMs. You know what that is? SARMs?
No.
Yeah, some weird new steroid that they gave me that I got big.
You was eating a lot as well.
I was eating a lot. Well, sure, you got to, but I was doing everything.
Really? And how did you lose it?
Stop doing SARMs and then stop eating.
But how much did you go up
Bad
there?
prep.
He's clean.
Yeah, but it was really big, and now it looks like Gollum. That's how much were you weighing? Like, was it?
I was like
28 pounds, 2 stones.
I shipped out. I was 220, 220, and now I'm 165. Sort of.
That's a lot of weight to put on and lose. But you actors do kind of extreme shit, don't you?
All right, why don't you slow down, making me feel small?
No, but you do,
right?
don't you?
Yeah, this sounds like a conversation you can have at the bar afterwards, and you can measure up. Bjorn, I already know the answers to this, obviously, but tell everybody else, what compelled you to write this story?
I think becoming a father. I think I became a father in 2018, and becoming a dad throws up a lot of questions. Will I be enough? Can you achieve your goals? And the answer to all those questions was this film, was Salvable, and Sal and his story. I'm really proud of it.
Johnny, how did you guys have directed together for a long time, but how did you create such a safe space for these guys, the actors, to get deep?
Gosh, I mean, look, we came into this knowing we were making a British indie film. We didn't have a great deal of money to do that, and I think part of that process was, you know, us all getting to know each other in New York and trusting each other. And one thing that really surprised me was, you know, these guys had to make so many sacrifices. You know, Shia putting on weight, that was one thing, and going through that rigmarole, but actually him studying the script rigorously every single night and coming in every day with incredible ideas. And we had to leave our ego at the door completely, because, you know, these guys were coming in with incredible ideas, and we wanted to honor that and put that on screen, and we tried our best. And
yeah, you did.
Yeah, hopefully that comes across. Like, we gave these guys the dance floor, and we had an amazing team. Simon Plunkett, our DP, and Sabrina Linda, our production designer, were a fucking powerhouse, and created, you know, 360 sets, and it allowed these guys to play, and it allowed Simon to follow the action. It all felt messy, and it felt in that world, and, you know, that's what we wanted from this film. And it was weird, we prepped so hard for this film, didn't we? We came in with so many storyboards and etc., and I think on day one or day two they were out the window.
Threw them in the bin.
we
did.
I recall Jamie and Connor, our producers, coming up to us on day one and saying, right guys, we've got 2 hours of overtime budgeted. And we were like, okay, cool, per day, yeah? They were like, no, the whole shoot. And we basically used that in the first like 24 hours on set. So testament to these guys. They are fucking inspirational, incredible humans that can bring a level of talent on screen that, you know, I could only ever wish for. So thank you.
Shia, I know you've worked with a directing duo before, but what was it like working with these two?
Say something nice.
I wouldn't. I don't know if you know this. I wouldn't if I didn't. Yeah. man, I you know, it's a young man's movie, you know, and so we all connected on all the sensibilities of the movie. They had sent me like a visual the early days, so I knew they aesthetically had it. And then it was like getting to the spirit of the thing. Like, hey, you know, when an actor first meets a director, and I tell this to them all the time, he's like, if he's got a fucked up hairstyle, you're probably not going to roll with that guy. You know, if you can't get your fucking hair together, you're not going to be able to make a movie. You know what I mean? How many choices you got to make in a movie? All the music, all the shots. If you can't get your fucking hairstyle, you know. So, like, when you first meet a director, they're pretty slick, you know. So
you put that on the poster.
Handsome cats. So I knew aesthetically they'd get it, and then it was like, oh, well, can we vibe with each other's spirit, you know? Do we have the same spirit? And we do. So then it was like, cling. The beauty of having the duo is, especially on a small thing like this, is like every actor will find their point, because you can't talk to two people at once sometimes. Sometimes you need both of them, but like in the bank robbery, you need both because you're leaning on people and you're scared. But often, you know, actor director, you need like a one-to-one thing, sort of like boxers have with their corner man. There's three guys there, but you're talking to one guy. No? I mean, but you need them all there. But you're talking to one, so it's a bit like that. So and it depend on the day. You know, certain days for certain things. So it's good to have them both. Having both of them, I found really helpful. You know, sets get lonely, and this set didn't feel like that. It always felt like fun. Like we'd be filming, and Carl would just show up. You know, and that'd be cool. You know, because it gets monotonous throughout the day, and then you have a Carl Froch show up on your set. It's fun as fuck. You know, but. It was a lovely set, you know. It was a family operation from the top, you know. And I just remember small things on this show, like Sabrina drove me around. She put the whole, basically, all the physical stuff together, you know. And I remember her taking me to my room for the first time, and she was like, "So tell me, what music are you listening to?" And I never have a production designer ask me those questions, so it just felt like everybody's jobs sort of crisscrossed. And I don't know if that's a European cinema thing. We never had that on Fury, so I think it was a this movie thing. It just felt like everybody's job kind of intertwined. Everybody be throwing ideas. Carl would come and be like, "Hey, that instead of this." Like everybody was, and there's a couple of the boys in here who fought with us on the day. You know, everybody was throwing ideas. It felt like really collaborative, more so than normal. And that's because we had two dudes at the top who kind of you could see them doing it with each other. You know, Johnny would throw it to him. They were like throwing it to each other all the time, and that kind of bleeds down. So it helps for collaboration.
I've got to give credit to Shia as well. Other than being an amazing actor, he's an incredible writer, and we've talked a lot about this. When we first got together, obviously we had the script, it was there, and when we were in New York, most days Shia would come in with ideas. And that can be quite intimidating when you've got a script that's ready to go and you don't really want to mess with it. But Shia's ideas were amazing. And one of my favourite bits in the film, I have to give credit to him, it's the chocolate egg in the car, which we got a laugh at. And I remember in New York, we were eating dinner, Shia came up to me and said, "I've got an idea for this scene. It's quite an intense scene, just after the fight. Sal and Vince are there. And it's supposed to just kind of kick off, and then Sal leaves. And Shia was like, "No, I think we need to break the tension. I think there needs to be something funny that basically softens the mood, but in a way makes his character feel even more unhinged and even more dangerous." And it went from being a cheese string to a chocolate egg. So, yeah.
That they had to get custom made to be smaller.
Yeah, we couldn't get cream egg cleared, so I think it was egg de creme.
That is a real testament to you, though, because one thing certainly I remember from being on set was how much of a collaborative project it all felt, and it definitely filters down from the top. So on behalf of all the cast and crew, I want to say thank you to you guys for creating such a wonderful environment. Carl, first movie cameo? Was it? First movie cameo?
It was, yeah. It was.
Brilliant.
No.
Is this the start of a Carl Froch acting career, do we think?
I'm not sure about that, actually.
He could do it, though.
Dude, I think
He really could do it. He could.
We can talk.
Yeah, we'll have a chat after.
You'd be great, Carl.
I want to touch a little bit on Toby, because he obviously can't be here tonight. And Toby in this film is incredible.
Yeah.
He is
Sensational.
so beautifully nuanced in everything he does, and you guys know more about his process than I do. So I wonder if you could tell everyone a little bit about that.
My process with Toby was just we love, you know, like there's no special act or words or shit like that. You know, you kind of you tell each other stories and you remember what they are and you piggyback certain. Like the way I met Toby was at the BAFTAs. I was at the BAFTA Awards, and I think I was having a hard time and I wound up in a stairwell. I'm smoking a joint and he walked in and we fell in love. You know, it was like, oh, that's
the stairwell with the Armani suits.
So like when you see me and I'm like, hey man, Armani suits and Crosby with the fucking hairstyle and the little security, that was what was going on. That's how I met him, you know. So I'm telling him a story, but I'm in character, but we're not. So there's no acting, and we both remember that moment because it was a moment in our life where, you know, I was on a certain trajectory in terms of Transformers and pop culture. He was on a certain rock and roller trajectory, and when we met in BAFTA, it was like a certain chapter in our lives. So when I'm saying him, you know, and I'm like, don't you miss it? I'm not talking no fucking silly games, you know. We're talking about life. And so when you can get to a set where you don't have to work so hard, you know, you can just like pull stuff like rabbits out the hat. You don't even know they're there because you can be so free. You don't have to be this other guy, you know. Then you can really get to this shit, you know, the good stuff. So my process with him was just like getting naked, you know, not literally, but just like, you know, bro, tell me a story, you know, that kind of shit, you know.
And for you guys, what do you know about how Toby approached this role?
What's that, sorry?
Bjorn, what do you guys know about how Toby approached the role?
I mean, a lot of hard work. Toby was, you know, in the shadows boxing a lot. I think he was kind of putting himself through hell. He was getting up at 5:30 every morning at home in winter. We know how cold it was because we were out running with him and it wasn't great. He'd go and hit the bag, and you know, he didn't want to try and get like body beautiful for this film. That wasn't the point. The point was to feel strong, and I mean, I think you can tell like he just looks like a brick shithouse in this film. But no, Toby was amazing. Toby was a dream to work with. I've got a lot of love for him. It's a real shame he can't be here tonight, but I think he's done himself credit with that fantastic performance.
Yeah, here. And Carl, you said he did a bit of sparring with you. How did he fare up to the Cobra?
Yeah, it was all right. It was good because he, like I said, he boxed amateur, and he's got a little bit of weight on me. He looks in better shape there than what he did when I first met him. Believe it or not, but like you said, Bjorn, he didn't want to look ripped with a six pack and pecs. He wanted to look raw and like a bit of a journeyman type. And when he whips his top off, he looks like he looks a bit of a unit. Yeah. He's got a bit of flesh around his belly, hasn't he?
Well, in Toby's words, Toby said, "I've got a body like a bag of milk." But another funny story was we were training in New York, and every day we were going and doing runs, doing the gym, and Carl would get Shia and Toby in and do a bit of sparring with them, and it was more than touch sparring, but it wasn't like full on sparring, but it was still you could still get caught with a few things. And
Cobra's not a trainer; he's a fighter, you know.
Yeah,
it is a different animal.
The most worrying moment though was a minute into a spar. I'm thinking, okay, there's 2 minutes left. Carl leaned in and went, "Do you want 30 seconds of the Cobra?" And I thought, shit.
But he was like, "Yeah, go on, give me some."
And to be fair, he said yes, and fucking Carl sunk his elbows in, dropped his knees, and started throwing shots.
Yeah, by the way, the insurance company for the film, I hope they're not here, specifically said no contact, otherwise we can make the film, so thanks for breaking that, Carl.
No, pleasure. It was body shots, it was body sparring.
Yeah.
If you know boxing, we've got Harlem Eubanks sat down there, by the way. A good win the other day. Well played. And when you're body sparring, when you're not hitting each other in the head and the face, you can get away with sneaking a few in. And obviously, being a pro boxer, 4-time world champ, Hall of Famer and all that, once boxed at Wembley Stadium in front of 80,000 fans, you know the drill.
George Groves, wasn't it?
You don't want to. You've still got an ego. You know what I mean? And you've got him, Toby, like putting a few shots together, like giving you a look, and you think, hang on a minute, have one of them, have two.
You had to let him know, didn't you?
Yeah, but he was all right. He stood up to it and he was enjoying it. But getting him into that mindset, I think he embraced the role better, because if you're going to turn up and be lazy in the gym and you're not going to really take the boxing bit seriously. Yeah, Toby did want it. And because he embraced the role, then I think the fight scenes and his mindset for the whole casting was good.
I think that's the thing, just to add to that, like, just the sacrifices. I don't think people actually realise the sacrifices these guys make. You know, like, it's no mean feat to be fucking beat up by Carl Froch.
Well, I give him a training program. He actually did go and do the runs.
Yeah.
And I thought
It's way easier to get beat up by Carl Froch than to work at Verizon every fucking day. You know, it's the truth.
He did very well.
It's a blessing.
He did very well. You all did very well. I mean, yeah, again, I just want to say huge well done to everyone, cast, crew, every single human that was involved in this project. Thank you. We will forever be grateful. I'm going to let everyone go for a wee because I bet we're all busting.
Thanks, guys.
But did you want to do an obligatory picture before we leave the stage? It seems rude not to.
No. How do we do that?
No.
We're good.
Shia's off. We're good. Thank you so much,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.